Hello people, Dr. Wang is here recording. In this video, I'm going to talk about the first assignment. The question number one here is about a car dealership selling a car to you, and you're about to finance a car loan. So the car dealer is offering two deals. You can choose one of the two. As a matter of which one to choose, it really depends on whoever offers a better deal. So for deal one, as you can see, it's a 0% financing for 5 years. Okay, so we just call it 0% financing. And for deal two, then it's not 0%. So basically, you're gonna find your own loans, and that loan has a rate of 6%. And for deal one, you can see it is better regarding to interest rate because 0% is better than 6% to pay. However, we cannot say deal one is absolutely better because deal two offers a rebate. Okay, so rebate is a instant price mark off from the current price. So if it is a $2,000 rebate for a $28,000 car, then the outdoor price will be $26,000. So basically, a rebate will make the current price of the car goes down. So what you're gonna do here is to try to find the payments, okay, the monthly payment for both of the deals, okay, for each deal, and then compare. And for deal one, you should know that if you choose to do 0% financing, you are financing the full price. And the full price of $28,000 will be the present value in your calculator. And for deal two, you are financing the full price minus rebate. So basically, the $26,000 should be the present value in your calculator. All right, so you need to calculate the monthly payment for each deal and then compare. Whoever offer a smaller monthly payment is the better deal. Question number two, you need to borrow money and you're considering two loans. The term of two loans are equivalent except the interest rate and also the compounding frequency. For loan A, the stated rate is 4.65%, which is compounded daily, okay? 4.65% compounded daily. So that basically means your frequency equals to 365 per year. And the second loan gives a stated rate of 4.7%, and the compounding frequency is semi-annual. So that means the frequency is 2 per year. So your job is to calculate the effective rate for each loan and then compare. So if you are on the borrowing side of the loan, then you prefer to pay a lower effective interest rate. Okay, just like when you are financing a car loan, you're borrowing for a car loan, you prefer a smaller monthly payment. So you need to calculate the effective rate for each loan and then compare. Whoever is lower is the better one. Question three is about financing credit card bill. So what you see here is a $4,000 credit card bill to finance, and you are going to pay off based on interest rate of 15.5%, and you're gonna keep paying $140 per month. So you need to figure out how long or how many months does it take to pay back the loan. So in this question, you should know that you need to put in you need to solve for n. So you need to know how many months does it take. And you need to know that your current present value is $4,000 to finance, okay? So it is like you borrow $4,000 from your credit card company to do whatever you need to do. You buy a secondhand car or you buy an Xbox with 300 games, I don't care. So the fact is, you just borrowed $4,000 from your credit card company, and you are going to pay it back with $140 each month with a 15.5% interest rate. So you should know that the annual rate here is 15.5%, but it's compounded on a monthly basis. So you need to consider the monthly rate, okay? Convert it to a monthly rate. And also your payment is $140 each month, and then you need to solve for n, and there's zero future value. So I will leave all the rest of the job to you guys, and I definitely think you would be able to figure it out. So question 1, 2, 3 are questions coming from chapter 5, the chapter of time value of money. So you get all the necessary skills for calculations and also the underlying theory covered in that chapter, just to go through the whole thing, and also finish the Excel project too. As I said, the Excel project is something you need to do step by step. It's just a replication from my instructor. So right here for question 4, I printed it this way so you can do it better. So for question A, B, C, it's just a matter of a calculation of a certain factors in your financial statements, and this is from a financial accounting, and I'm not worried about that if I were in your shoe. Question D, E are basically from chapter 4. It's about time interest earned ratio and quick ratio. So you will find the formulas in the slide of chapter 4. And the question F and G is about the statement of cash flows, the accounts in change in account receivable, and then the change in accounts payable. So you should know that account receivable is an asset. So when assets increase, then you should put a negative sign in front of the number. And the accounts payable is the liability. If liability increase, then it should be a positive on the statement of cash flows. Okay. When assets increase, your cash goes down. When liability increase, your cash going up. Assume everything else does not change. And for the cash dividend paid to the shareholders, you know where to find the dividends, right? So this is dividends paid to the shareholders. However, I also want you to pay close attention to the sign of these dividends, is that positive or negative on your statement of cash flows. What will be challenging is question I and question J, because they involve a dynamic story. So for question I, the firm sells inventory by $40,000. So assume no other activities taking place. What's the new quick ratio? So you should know in quick ratio how the change of inventory would affect the quick ratio. So basically, if you sell inventory, then you would have more cash, right? Cash increases. And if you look at the quick ratio, and that basically involves the current assets minus inventory divided by current liabilities. And I need to put a parenthesis sign there. So for current assets, you should know that it includes inventory, it includes cash, it includes account receivable. So if you sell off inventory, you receive more cash by the same amount. So your total current assets actually does not change. Let me repeat. When you sell inventory and you receive the cash by the same amount, your current assets just does not change. All right, because the deduction of inventory compensate the increase of cash or vice versa. So you have the same total current ratio. Same total current assets. For the inventory, however, the inventory just decreased by $40,000. So you need to incorporate that change in the new quick ratio. And your current liabilities is not affected at all by this activity. So you need to incorporate the change of inventory in the new calculation of quick ratio. And for question J, when a firm increases its long-term debt by $100,000, what's the new total debt ratio? And you should know that the total debt ratio is total liabilities divided by total assets. So when the firm increases long-term debt by $100,000, you should keep that in mind, that your cash increased by the same amount. As I said, when liability increase, the cash also increased by the same amount. And the cash is part of total assets. long-term debt is part of current liabilities. So you should incorporate the changes to both the factor either above or below the fractional line to calculate the new total debt ratio. Question 5, 6, and 7 are the question 5 and 6 are also from chapter 5, and the question 7 I would say coming from chapter 4, the financial ratio chapter. So for question 5, the firm is your parents are planning to buy a second house, and the price is $500,000, and they're gonna pay 20% as down payment. The mortgage rate is 4% per year, and you are going to solve for monthly mortgage payment. So it's about solving for payment, and the payment is on a monthly basis. So you need to lay out the present value, the future value, number of periods, and also the interest rate. Okay, and also make sure in your calculator your PY and the CY has a meaningful number. So if you put your PY and the CY equals to 1, then the interest rate of 4% should incorporate that change. If you put it as a 12, then you don't need to incorporate any change for the interest rate, just the number of 4% in the interest rate. So anyways, for the present value of the house, you know, it's not the amount of the full price, it's the amount of how much ever you are borrowing, and that is the amount you are financing. So basically you are not financing $500,000, you're only financing the part after the down payment. You're only financing the 80%, okay, the 80% of $500,000, because the other 20% was already paid off. And your future value should be 0, because there's no other payment besides the regular monthly paycheck. And your N should be 30 years times 12. You have a total of 360 months to make the payments. Question 6 is about saving for retirement. And right here, you have planned out your retirement. You're gonna work for 40 years and then retire, stay in retirement for 30 years. And for your retirement is gonna be, you're gonna receive a monthly check of $6,000. So step number 1 here is to figure out how much money you need before you, right at the time you retire, okay? Or how much money you saved before retirement. So your money, retirement, should be the present value of the $6,000 you will receive in the next 30 years, okay? It's the present value of a $6,000 monthly pension received in 30 years, okay? And I forgot to say that I forgot to mention the interest rate. So assume interest rate is 4%. Okay, assume interest rate is 4%. So to make it complete, I'm sorry about this mistake. For those of you who have already submitted it, just redo the work and resubmit it, and I wouldn't deduct any points for that. So your interest rate is 4%, and then you get how much money you have saved before you retire. It should be in the scale of millions of dollars. And the step 2 is use the retirement fund. You just solve from a step 1. Use it as the future value of your monthly saving. Okay, your monthly saving. So, and then you solve for monthly saving. So your monthly saving is a payment stream that that goes to your retirement fund, which you're gonna use to live during retirement. Okay, And again, the interest rate is 4%. Question 7. What is the current ratio of a company with the current assets of $10 million and the current liabilities of $5 million? Well, that's easy to do, right? Your current ratio is current assets over current liabilities. And your current assets 10, the current liability is 5, so current ratio is 1.5. I just answered that question for you. So if the company uses short notes payable to borrow money and then use the money raised to buy more inventory, what will be the new current ratio? And I forgot to add the amount of notes payable. Let's say at $1 million. Okay. So basically, if the firm use the notes payable to finance, to gather cash, so then what happened is your current liability would increase by $1 million. Oops. And at the same time, your cash would increase by $1 million. All right, no doubt. And the second story is you're going to use the money to buy more inventories. So when you buy the inventory, the cash will decrease by $1 million, okay? And then your inventory will increase by $1 million. So the net effect is the cash increase and decrease, so the net change is 0, so it's just get canceled out. And only the current liability as increases, and the total assets, the inventory part of total current assets increases. So it is basically both numbers, current assets and current liabilities, will add it by 1. You need to use these two numbers to calculate the new current ratio. So for this thing, I just tell you how to do this assignment, all the questions one by one, and also I just add in some new information to it to make the question more complete, so you can figure out an answer to it. So if you have any questions, just ask me. I hope you good luck.